So hey guys, this is just going to be a quick little moto vlog, I'm going to call it. I used to do these a lot, where I just talk about what's going on, what's happened in the world of motocross and racing and stuff like that, and what might be happening with my bike. So to start off, last week I rode my bike at NCNP, and I filmed it and made a video for you guys. And I sampled a little bit of it also to make a short. And surprising to me, the short really kicked off. It got thousands of views. I was really surprised by that. Just showing a little jumping. But as far as my Kayo K6R 250 goes, for those who don't know, I bought it and I haven't really done a lot to it. The major upgrades I did was a Henner Racing advanced flywheel key. And then everything else is suspension related. I switched out the front forks for Honda Showa from off of a Honda CRF 250 2005 through 2007 era. The twin chamber 47 millimeter forks. That change will only work on the Kayo K6R. A gentleman tried it for the EFI, but I believe those have 48 millimeter forks in their open chamber forks. They have totally different excuse me, they have totally different clamps, so the size of the opening is different. So that addresses that, and I feel sorry for the gentleman that did that if you did that based on the video that I put out, but I'm pretty sure I made it clear that the EFI has totally different suspension. So, but the bike itself, just in general, I believe it's still an incredible bike. And I recently made a series of videos about most affordable bikes under 5K that were brand new, that weren't, the typical Japanese bikes or Austrian bikes that you can't buy those for under 5K no matter what anyway. So so you get a brand new bike, 5K MSRP, and I named off a couple other ones. The SSR is one of my favorites. It's like my second favorite bike. The Trailmasters seem to be pretty decent too, but so getting back to mine is, I tell everybody mine is the number one. And the reason why I say that is because it was made for motocross. It's specifically designed for that. So you get a dual overhead cam, carbureted. You don't get EFI, but you also don't get the problems that come with EFI. Some people have been commenting about EFI issues with their bikes, the K6R EFI versions. And while I don't necessarily blame the manufacturer, I think you need to go into it knowing what was required of EFI. I'll go over what I think you need to do to fix these issues if you buy one. First thing, change out your spark plug. Number one, day one, or as soon as you can anyways, change out that spark plug. I don't believe the stock one is of very good quality. Get an NGK, and I'll put in the description the one to get, the manufacturer's model number for that NGK. Second thing to do, clean out your gas, remove your gas tank and clean it out 100%. There's going to be little pieces of plastic from the molding in there, and they leave a little bit of gas from when they start them usually, and that turns into sludge from sitting on the showrooms. And just get rid of that. So, and within the tank itself is a filter that screws into the bottom where your I guess it's kind of like the fuel pump, but it has a filter in it. And you need to, on the bottom of it is this little white filter that you need to clean out. Get some brake fluid or some contact cleaner, clean that out real good. There's an inline filter underneath the tank, a round one, like what I would compare it to a car filter. It's kind of big and round. I would either totally replace that right off the bat, or maybe consider cleaning it. I don't know how you would clean it, but I've heard people... I've heard things that I don't necessarily recommend, but... So, I would say buy a new one. Order a new one, buy a new one. But I guess you can clean that filter too. And if you can afford it, I would suggest you buy a brand spanking new fuel injector, either to have as a backup or to clean, so you can switch out cleaning them. And then absolutely do not run ethanol-based fuels in these bikes, and don't run less than 92 octane or 91, whatever you get that's considered supreme. That you can, the highest that you can get that's non-ethanol. Excuse me. And even if you get 90, like what I do, I get 90 non-ethanol, which is low for the octane. Then I go and buy VP octanium and add that to it so that it bumps back up the octane number. That'd be my suggestion. Or buy race fuel. But yeah, these things don't run so well, especially the EFIs, on crappy fuel. So that's it for the China bikes. Getting back to mine, like I said, the reason why I believe the Kayo K6R 250 is the best is because it's carbureted, which is easy to change the jets and clean out. The second thing is the suspension. The suspension on that bike is better than the EFI version. The front forks, as of 2022, I don't know what the new models... Well, sorry, I guess 2021 is on my plate. I don't know what a 2022 or a 2023, if those models are even available or out in the country. But they come with knockoff... The Fast Ace front fork is knockoff Honda twin chamber fork. So you get a good fork that has great dampening ability in the Fast Ace line. And you get a solid shock that's essentially an old Honda clone also from like 2010. And it comes suspended. The springs come in a weight that is good for what a 250 rider would be, which would be like 145 to 175 pounds. Anything more than that, you might be looking to change out your springs. But and that's what I did, actually. My rear spring is a white power spring. And obviously I've told you about the front, switching them out to genuine Honda show us. But the engine characteristic is more similar to like an old Suzuki. I've had enough people ride it and enough people to compare it to. I got a buddy that rides a 2019 Honda CRF 250, and he says it's good with that, except it just dies a little quicker. Doesn't have the over rev. It doesn't go high and still keep building power. It gets to a point where it kind of just cuts off and it's not as high as his Honda. But I had another guy ride it who was a Suzuki rider, and he says it's very similar. So the power at 31 horsepower stock is not that bad. And a lot can be done to build it. I haven't even touched my bike because it's been fine for me. I did change the gearing, and I'm going to change the gearing again. I'm going to try something different. Currently, I have 1353, and I'm going to I've ordered a front 12 and go back to the stock 51. So I'm going to try 1251. That gives me about 4.25 gear ratio, something like that. And I think that's going to be the sweet spot. It's going to be pretty good, I believe. Tires are not the greatest. I mean, they come with Kenda Washugels, but they're not for soft. They're not the best for soft. They are definitely an intermediate. I've kind of felt and noticed that. So I may be changing out the tires pretty soon, or at the very least switching the rear, reversing it so it has more of a scoop effect. So that finishes everything with the China bikes and my bike in general. Great bike, love it. Still feel it's the best. So moving forward, I want to thank you all for looking at the Claimgate video that I did regarding Haiden Deegan at Loretta Lynn's and Brendan Schofield claiming his bike, and how the industry just squashed that and really screwed that up. I did a separate video for how I think the AMA can fix that. I think they need to address this issue so it doesn't become an issue moving forward. Thank you to all of the people who have looked at those. Those videos are some of the best I've ever done, as far as people looking at them in a short period of time. And I want to say, I want to address Haiden coming to the pros this week. When this video comes out on Friday, it'll be the Friday before the National at Ironman, where he makes his pro debut. And for those people who think I dislike him, that's totally false. I want to set the narrative straight right now. I have no problem with Haiden. I have a little problem with Brian. I don't think he should have been even remotely trying to be alone with that kid. And I think he got a little butthurt, more so than he should. I think he should have realized the rules and shouldn't have made such a big deal about that bike being claimed. But irregardless of that, as a person, I think he's cool. I think what he's doing with his son is bringing him up, doing the right thing, and they have advantages of money. They just have that. I mean, that's what it is. He's doing all the right things. But this weekend, I've seen a lot of people saying where they thought he might place, and I've seen some people, I think they're a little bit touched, saying that he'll podium, or at least one of the motos get up there, and that's just ridiculous. I would be blown away if he would get that high. I'm predicting that he's going to go something like 8-10 over between the motos. 7-8 in the first moto, and then maybe 9-10 in the second. I believe he'll fade off a little bit in the second moto because he's not used to that type of racing twice, 30 plus twos. So, but that's great. I'm saying it, if it sounds negative, I'm saying that's amazing that he come in and do that well. Most guys who have come up from the amateur ranks, that's about what they do. That first race is a hard one. And I think he's going to find out. These guys ain't messing around. They're pro. They're doing it for money. And I know he trains hard down there in Florida. And that Star Compound, they've got a lot of good riders. A lot of them are coming back this weekend, actually. I think they got 5 or 6 riders this coming weekend. So, yeah. I think he's good for the sport. I don't have a problem with him. I think he's done the right things. If you just look at him, take out the star stuff, the claim gate and all that, just as a rider and doing what he does, he works hard for what he's earned. And he's earned it. And I think it's fair. It's not, you can get into, is he really an amateur? Was he ever really an amateur? I mean, we can have that conversation, and I may do a video about that in the future. But, I mean, he's gone up fast, and he's of quality. He rode the amateur day last weekend, and Matt Burkeen, he was a pro in the 450s. He barely beat him, but he did. I mean, he's quick. The kid can ride. So that's that one. And then I just wanted to touch on Cooksey did a video today, and he released it, talking about women's racing, and I agree with him. I think we need it back. I think there's enough women now. There was a gap where there wasn't enough quality to make a show. But I believe that that's changed. More and more women are getting into the sport. The more that they get opportunities, the faster they become. And I think we need it back. A small outdoor national series, maybe not every round, maybe every other round. Let them have, I don't know, 6 to 8 to get it started, and then, keep funneling that, fuel that from the funnel of Loretta Lynn's. Make amateur women's racing, support it a little bit more, let it get out there that it's going to be happening, then also have a pro level where they can go and have their own series running day of the men's. I don't see why we shouldn't do it. I think it's needed. I think that the outside industry, the gears companies, the bars company, the Renthals, the Pro Tapers, the Fox Racing, the Thor Racing, the O'Neills, the Alpine Stars, the Bell helmets, the Shoei helmets, the outside industry is missing a big opportunity to cater to, 50% of the population. Now, that's not saying 50% of the population of women know motocross, but, they're missing an opportunity, and they need to cultivate it, bring it along and cultivate it. So that's it. I guess that's my musings and ramblings for this week. I still want to try to keep making videos for you every week. Mostly try to get them out on Fridays at 5 p.m. And I just want to ask any of you guys that are not subscribed, I know that my videos get like 90% of the people who watch them are not subscribers. So I'm trying to make an effort here to make more videos and make them of a little bit better quality. I'm not going to invest a ton in it, unfortunately, unless I were to get to that 1,000. If I start making money from the videos, if I were to get the AdSense, then I would invest in also making better quality videos. But right now I'm just doing this from my phone, a remote mic, and it's the best that I can do with what I have. But I think all of the people who have subscribed, my subscribership has gone up. I believe as of today I was 809, I believe was my subscriber count, and then obviously I'm trying to get to that 1,000. My watch hours are up there. You guys are actually watching the videos and watching them a little bit longer. So for all those, I appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.